Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for February 23rd, 2020. So I had a great 3-day weekend. I took off Friday so that I could go down to my parents' house. They live about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Portland, and I hung out with my mom and my grandmother for lunch, and then I went over to Corvallis where there was a library book sale. So my dad went. We went at we paid to be members for the year, so we got in early. I mean, it's the most expensive of the library book sales that I go to. Corvallis is kind of like that. Anyway, it's just it was still fun. I mean, my dad and I did some damage. He did more damage than I did, though. I have to say, I did a lot of damage, but he did a lot more than I did. But it's not a competition. But as my aunt said, I don't fall far from the tree when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, we had a great time, and then I hung out with them, until Saturday afternoon. And then we're planning our vacation for the summer. So I'll get to go back to Minnesota and Iowa and see my family back there. So that'll be in the summertime. There. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, but that's all taken care of. So anyway, it's been a great weekend. Yesterday afternoon, I got home and I just kind of chilled out. I didn't do much of anything. The cats were so excited I was home, so that went well. And then, so today I'm just gonna do, some filming in the morning, and then I'm gonna just chill out the rest of the afternoon and evening, and hopefully get a lot of reading done. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about the books that I finished this week, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm gonna read in the next week. So the first one I finished was a short story that I told you guys that I was gonna pick up at some point, and I picked it up at work on Monday because I was really bored for some reason, and I read Meet Cute by Gail Carriger. So this was awesome. This was like 12 pages. I mean, it doesn't look like 12 pages when you're on this, but I think she said it was only like 12 pages. Gail Carriger said, if you printed it out, but it was like the prequel to Solace, or the Parasol Protectorate series. So this is steampunk, London, so Victorian age, alternate history with vampires and werewolves and other things. And Alexa is what is considered a soulless or preternatural. And when she interacts with other supernatural beings, things happen. And she is one of my favorite heroines of all time. She is just fantastic because she is unapologetically herself most of the time. And I just love her. She's stubborn, and she does what she wants in a society that doesn't usually let women do that. So she's at a house party in this, and this is the Hedgehog incident. If you've read the books, you would know that was for a thing we never saw. So this is what happened. It did not go like the beginning part of it, yes, it was all kind of what I kind of expected. But it went in ways I didn't expect. So I did enjoy it, and I did like it. And of course I gave it 5 stars because it was Gail Carriger. Anyway, but it was weird. I mean, it wasn't weird. I don't mean weird. It was just fun. Like, it was just fun. It just wasn't what I expected. And I don't know. I still enjoyed it, and I'm glad we finally got to see that. There's like a print, only one print version was in like one of those Subterranean Press releases, and it was like $50, and I couldn't afford that. And again, I buy most of her stuff when it first comes out. Like, she's one of the 2 authors I buy hardback, and I just could not make myself buy that episode, that a little short story for that much money. I mean, it went with, I think it had Solace in it too. I don't know. It had something else. Anyway, I didn't have it. Anyway, but then Monday night I came home and finished the Empire of Grass by Tad Williams. This is book 2 in the Last King of Austenard series. This was so good. This is epic fantasy. This is the second set of trilogies that follow Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn that start with the Dragonbone Chair. And I always recommend people start the Dragonbone Chair with Tad Williams because it was fantastic. And I mean, I've read the series at least 4 times. since I read it the first time when I was a teenager. And he was my first, like, I don't know, like the first series that I had to wait for every book to come out. Like, I got to read Dagger and Bone Chair right after it came out, like a year or so after it, I think. And then, but then I had to wait for the other 2 books, and it was torture. Anyway, but he is the other author that I only buy hardback copies of. So I bought the hardback last year on May. I got it pre-ordered, and then I let it sit on my shelf. And I don't know why I do this to myself, where I was so anticipating this. I meant to read this by August or September, and I tried to reread the first book, The Witchwood Crown. It was fantastic. I tried to listen to audio. It's just it's like a 40-hour audio book. This is 638 pages. So when I did start this, I did it because of Tome Topple that is put on by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes. She announced it, and I went, I'm reading this book. I had to get, the paperback's coming out in May. So I had to get this read in my mind of why I bought a hardback. And I have to be better about it next time. When the 3rd book comes out, The Navigator's Children, which I don't know. There was a date that said that it was going to be this year, but I don't think it's going to be this year. I think it'll be next year. But we'll see what happens. When that comes out, I am going to read it within the first, like, 3 months. I cannot keep putting this stuff off. And this was fantastic. I'm so mad at myself for waiting so long, but it was so good. And I'm glad I did read it. Again, epic, what do you call it? Sorry, cliffhangers of all the characters. You have characters who are as high as, like, the High King of the Ward, and you have, like, lowly as in just like a nursemaid to a duchess. Like, she's, you know, a rural girl who came to the city to help out a friend of hers who married really well. And so it's like you get like, and then you get like all different smatterings of people who are in power and stuff. And then you also get those who are creating havoc. And I just, again, this world is one of those that I fell in love with back when I was a teenager, and I have continued, and I'm so glad that these new sets of books came out. Again, this is book 2, so book 3 will come out soon. But I totally recommend these. Again, I suggest starting with the Dragon Bone Chair. And again, I love tattling. Anyway, so I was so glad I finished that. I'm glad I read a lot on Sunday, and then on Saturday or Monday, I did not turn the TV on. I pretty much just read so I could finish the book. It was so great. Anyway, so the next book I picked up was Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. This is book 2 in the Thomas Cromwell series. I am, well, I think it said I was 68% of the way through this. I didn't read this, I think because I read so much of the Empire of Grass at the beginning of the week that I kind of slowed down. And that's what, during the week is always like that for me though. I don't read as much during the week as I would like. Which is why I always look for my average number, not what I read per day, because it just doesn't add up. So this is book 2. It follows Wolf Hall, which I read last month for Cromwellathon. That is put on by Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse. I was behind, so during the week though, I was able to watch his last 2 videos for the last 2 weeks, and so I caught up. And then hopefully he'll put one out for the last section, and then the one I finished yesterday or the day before, I don't remember now. And then I have the very end long section, and then to read the left. So as I said, I have 130 pages left, or 120 pages. 125. So I'm hoping to finish this today. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'd like to think that will happen today, but boy, the TV is distracting. You know, and I'm planning to be relaxed all day. But this is again following from Wolf Hall, so this is Thomas Cromwell, and it's pretty much the downfall of Anne Boleyn. And so it is really fascinating. Again, the 3rd book, The Mirror and Light, is coming out in March. I will not be purchasing it because I've got both this and Wolf Hall as library book sale buys. So, but I'll wait. My library, I'm on the wait for my library. I'm number 18. So when it comes out, I'll get it probably the end of March, because I think it said they were buying 12 copies or something. So anyway, I won't get it for March. Probably it'll probably be April before I get to it. But I do plan to read The Mirror and Light when I get it from the library, because I am really enjoying this. I don't like it as well as Wolf Hall. It's interesting. I think it's because this one's it's very much a middle book of the series. I'm hoping the third book is just going to blow us away. The first book was so good at introducing everybody and getting really into the world and seeing Cromwell's view of everything and how he gets involved in so many pieces. And then this is more it's just continuing, but it's also kind of starting to show the cracks of having so much power. So anyway, I'm really enjoying it. I just I'm going to try to finish that today or tomorrow. That is my hope, but as I said, it just matters how I feel like reading today. So I said on my Friday reads that I didn't know what audiobook I was going to pick up. I didn't. I thought, oh, I'd pick up something history, you know, nonfiction, which I should have. But I accidentally, when I was scrolling through my list on my Audible app, I clicked on Allegiance of Honor by Nalini Singh. And I went, sure, why not? So this is book, I think it's 14 in the Side Changeling series. It's her long-running paranormal romance series having to do with a futuristic version of the world where there are shifters and psychic people who are called the Psy, and humans who are vying for power. And this is like kind of this book is kind of supposed to be the culmination of the first 13 books. This is like the kind of showing you a glimpse of everybody, but also showing how everything's the first arc is what I want to say. Arc of her story has completed, and now we're into the kind of the second season of how you would put that. This is kind of the in-between book, and I have heard from other people who read this series, they don't like this because you don't get one main couple, you don't get the love story and everything. But I love this book for the fact you get to see all the characters, but because there's so many characters from different packs and from different Psy families and from humans that are all interacting. What I love about this is that you see little bits of them, and yes, it is kind of, it focuses mostly on Lucas, who was the main, and Sasha, who are the main characters of the very first book, Slave to Sensation. But it shows all those other people that have, where it shows how the group of the family, or the people who are, you know, their community, and who have come together and who knows who, and how they're all working together and who's working against them. And I just think it's a great book. It's Nalini Singh. So it's no surprise I'm enjoying the audiobook. I am almost 300 pages in, so I got 490, so I just under 200 pages left. Yeah, so just under that. I don't remember how many hours. It was 6 or 7, yeah, something like that. I don't know. But, you know, I listened to it at 1.5. And I'm really enjoying the audiobook. Angela Daw does a lot of the Nalini Singh books. So I've heard her. I have a couple of them. Actually, I might join Audible Escape. I've been thinking about this just because a lot of the Nalini Singh books are on there. And I only own probably about 5 or 6 of them from different series. And I only own 2 from this series, but the rest of them are from some of our other series. And I'm kind of tempted to join Audible Escape just so I can like binge all the Nalini Singh on audio. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, so that's the stuff I'm in the middle of. I did not get a chance to start Showa, A History of Japan, 1939 to 1944, but Shigeru Mizuki. This is a historical memoirish talking about the history of Japan. This is translated from Japanese by Zach Davison. So again, it's a manga. I read the first one, 1926 to 1939, last week, I think it was. And I expected to read this week, but because of what I was reading and how the days were, it just didn't happen. So I do want to read this. I did get the third one, which I don't remember what the dates are. It's 1944 to 53, I think. I don't remember. Anyway, I already have the third one ready to go in this series. There's 4 of them all together. The fourth one I don't have yet. It's somebody else has it. There's only one copy in the system, so I'll get it after that. So I need to read this one and probably the second one, or the third one as well in the next week or two to get through them. They're not, I mean, they take time because it is history, so there's a lot of dialogue. So he does a lot of realistic manga stuff for the history part, and then he'll kind of go cartoony when he's talking about himself and his experiences during this time. So anyway, it's a great history on Japan. I think it's, I mean, as I said, I'm really enjoying it, and I want to read them more, so I just haven't got around to it. And then I'm starting my buddy read with Maria at MH Books. We're reading Daughter of the Bone by Anne Bishop. This is the first book in the Black Jewels series. From what I understand, there's like, I think 8 books. I don't know why, I don't know if it's the first 3 books, that trilogy is somehow separate from the rest of the books. I'm not even quite sure, but I know the first book is Daughter of the Blood. So we are reading that this week. If you would like to join us, you can. We're going to do check-ins every, we're doing Voxer, do check-ins every there's sections, there's 3 sections in this book. So, but we're going to read it probably about 55 pages a day to get done by Saturday. So I'm looking forward to this. Again, another epic fantasy. I hear this is dark fantasy and that it's not good to be a man in this world, which again, I'm looking forward to that. But it's about 375 in this bind up of 3. That's how many pages it is. So it's not a huge book. So I'm hoping we're going to be fine. And as I said, I should do my average of the 50 pages a day. So we'll see how this goes. So that is all the books that I've read and I'm in the middle of and that I'm planning to read this week. And did I say that I was starting that today? Yes, I did. Sorry. Anyway, so what are you guys reading? How has your reading gone this last week? Did you participate in Tome Topple? Did you get anything read? I don't know. It was great. And again, I had a lot of fun at that library book sale. So book haul will be coming to you fairly soon. And it was pretty big. Anyway, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye.